I promoted other people's products for years and I actually made money doing it. So this is not one of those videos where I'm going to sit here and tell you that affiliate marketing is terrible and that you should immediately stop doing it, because I don't believe that. But there is something that I wish someone had told me before I started making money online. At some point, you might realize I don't just want to sell something online. I want to build something that's actually mine. And if you've started feeling that little tug lately, like maybe when you see one of your digital marketing friends create their own course or a little offer that she's started to promote, I want to talk about that today because I know that feeling really, really well. I didn't start out wanting to build a business. When I first discovered this whole online business world, I wasn't sitting around thinking, what I'd really like to do, develop my own intellectual property and build an online brand, right? That's absolutely not what I had in mind. I just wanted to make some extra money. That's it. I had a regular full-time job, money was tight, and I saw somebody talking about making thousands of dollars through digital marketing. And I really didn't even know what digital marketing was. I remember thinking, wait, people buy things that aren't things? Like there's no box, nothing gets shipped. What did people actually pay for? Like I didn't understand the digital world yet. Once I got into it, I started seeing what was possible. People are making money online. They're building communities. They were working from home. Some of them had left their jobs. And suddenly this idea of just making a couple extra $100 a month turned into something much bigger. Maybe I could actually build a business. Maybe I wouldn't have to work a regular job forever. Maybe this could actually change our life. And for a while, promoting other people's products felt like the perfect way to do it because somebody else had already figured it all out, right? They made the product. They named it. They priced it. They built the course, sales page, the funnels, the whole thing. They had it all figured out. And all I had to do was learn how to market it. Honestly, that was an incredible value and I learned a lot. But then something started to change. The longer that I was in the online business world, I kept seeing more women create things of their own. And I'd get this little, I don't know exactly what to call it, a ping, maybe a little jealousy ping, not jealousy, jealous, right? Like I didn't want what they had. I wasn't thinking, God, she doesn't deserve that. I was truly happy for them, but it was more like, dang, I wish I could do that. Have you ever felt that? You see somebody launch her own thing and you are genuinely happy for them, but there's a little part of you thinking, gosh, I wish I could build my own thing. Wish I had the courage to do something like that too. And I ignored that feeling for a while because creating something of your own feels completely different than promoting somebody else's thing, right? When I promoted somebody else's thing and nobody bought it, it's like, okay, they didn't want the program. But if I created something from my own ideas, from my experience, my story, my brain, and somebody didn't want that, and that felt super personal. And then there were all of these other questions, like what would I even create? How do I know that somebody will actually pay for it? And the biggest question, like, am I even qualified to do this? What if somebody else has already done this and they're doing it much better than I would ever do it? What if I spend weeks building this and nobody ever buys it? What if I tell people about my idea and they think it's stupid? Or almost worse, what if I launch and there's absolute crickets? I had all of these thoughts like bouncing around in my head, right? And it felt so much safer to keep promoting somebody else's thing that was already proven and the bugs worked out of it already. Here's what I wish I knew. I wish somebody would have told me, you don't have to wake up one morning and magically know what your business is supposed to be. You don't need some revolutionary idea that nobody else has thought of. And you definitely don't need to disappear into Canva and build a 97-page workbook before you're allowed to show anybody. You can figure this all out while you're building it. Actually, I think that's one of the best ways to figure it out. And that's exactly what Judy and I have done. You start with some idea, a problem that you've solved, something that you've learned, something that people already ask you about, an experience you've been through, a skill that you've picked up, something that you are really good at that other people seem to struggle with. And then you talk about it. You let people react to it. You ask questions. You test the idea. You change the name. You realize that the thing that you thought was the main problem really isn't. And somebody says, wait, that is what I need. And you're like, really? That part? Well, okay. And then suddenly your idea starts to take shape. This is the part that I think we get wrong online. We see the finished thing. We see someone's incredible sales page and you're ready to buy it because it's that good. It's polished. They have this beautiful community. There's testimonials. They have an extremely successful launch. And it looks like they just knew how to do it. Like one morning, God just dropped a fully formatted 12 module course into their brain, complete with all the hex code and the checkout page, and it's magic. That is not how most good things get built. If you could ask that person, and they would tell you that they had an idea, they talked about it, they got feedback, they let it grow, they made a version, and then they would pivot and change it and tweak it and make it better and build it up. And eventually it became the beautiful thing that you're seeing. You don't see the background work of things that happened earlier to get to that point, right? And I wish that I had understood that earlier because I thought that I needed to be confident and have the beautiful thing before I started. And I think a lot of confidence comes from the building of it. And I wish I hadn't thought that I had to figure it out all along. Judy and I thought that we had to figure it out all by ourselves and before we ever reached out to anybody. Because when you're sitting at your kitchen table trying to decide whether an idea is good, your own brain isn't always the most helpful place to be. 1 minute you're like, oh my gosh, this is brilliant. I'm so excited. And then 20 minutes later, you're like, oh wait, this is the dumbest thing that I've ever thought about. So then you change the name and then you take it back and then you ask ChatGPT and then you go to YouTube and then you make a logo and then you remake it. And then you decide that you hate the whole thing. And then you go eat something and then you start to think maybe a completely different business or you just sit on it. Please tell me that I'm not the only one. What helps is to have people to bounce things off of. And I know that because that's what Judy and I do. We'll send each other an idea or we have a wonderful coach that will bounce the idea off of them and they'll say, oh, that's great, but where are you in it? And then we'll bounce it back and forth and we'll say, okay, what about this? And what if we did that? And oh, that part is really great. And eventually something starts blossoming into something that neither one of us saw at the beginning. And that's become one of my favorite parts of building a business is not the finished part, but the building, the watching it grow and form and mold into something incredible. And that's actually why we're building the Build Lab. Judy and I have been creating something called the Build Lab. And the picture I have in my head is almost like an online business retreat, not some stuffy working group where everything sounds impressive. I want women to bring in the messy stuff. I want the half of an idea. I want to know if this is stupid. I want women to come in with their ideas and we will give feedback and critique it a little bit constructively and have fun and like show us what name of a product, show us your idea, show us your finished product eventually. And like, okay, now I'm at my videos and I'm starting to promote and I'm scared to do this. And this is the community that we're building. And I'm so excited. It's a place where you get to practice first before putting it out into the scary world, right? It's where you get to see what's working before you're like, standing in front of the entire internet with your pants down, right? I want women brainstorming and laughing and venting and changing things and trying things out. And yes, occasionally crying, because I apparently cry when I start talking about everything now, especially when I'm excited about something or when God has given me a download and I'm like, oh, this is amazing, right? And then we're going to celebrate the heck out of everybody, every small win, every giant win, because I don't want you sitting behind your laptop feeling lonely, trying to build this thing on your own and wondering if you're qualified. I want this to actually be fun for you. And that's what changed for me. I don't regret promoting other people's products. Like, not at all. It taught me so much. It taught me that making money online was real. It taught me marketing and community. It introduced me to people that I would have never met otherwise. And it helped me realize something so much bigger that I could build too. And that's what I wish I would have understood sooner. That promoting somebody else's thing doesn't have to be the destination. It can just be part of how you learn, part of how you discover what you like and what you don't like, part of how you start recognizing, wait a minute, I have opinions about how I would do this. That's important, because maybe you're not supposed to spend the rest of your online experience looking for the next perfect thing to promote. Maybe everything you've been learning has been preparing you to create something of your own. And no, you probably won't know exactly what that thing is yet. And that's okay. You don't need to have the whole thing figured out today. You just need to start paying attention to that little ping. So if you've been watching other women build their own thing and you have that little, wish I could do that, I want you to know something. The feeling doesn't necessarily mean that you want what she has. Maybe it's just telling you that it's your time to build. I believe that God puts things in front of us to show us what's possible for us, to show us what he wants for us. And he puts that little ping in our heart so that we can be like, oh, that's the direction I would like to go. God's showing you it's your turn to build it. And that's what we're going to talk about a lot on this channel. It's how to figure out what you could create, how to know whether people would actually want it, how to test an idea before ever building it, and how to turn what you already know into an offer. And yes, what to do when you are absolutely freaking terrified, wondering if anybody would even buy it. Because I don't want to teach you just how to make another digital product, because I want to help you get to the moment where what you thought was just a silly little idea is now sitting in front of you, and you get to smile and say, look what God helped me build. If that sounds like the season that you're in, subscribe and stick around, because we are building things here, and this is going to be really fun.